to go from working full-time in the full rat race kind of thing, this has opened up a whole new experience, to me anyway. You don't necessarily need that to still have a really fulfilled life.
Having that freedom to set your own agenda is like really fulfilling. Hi, I'm Courtney.
Hi, I'm James.
And this is our van Didi.
She's a 2012 Mercedes Sprinter long wheelbase.
And we're currently in the south of Portugal.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Click the link in the description below to save 10% off and build yourself a beautiful website or a store and make your presence online beautiful.
We were living in bungalows in Leeds. We always thought we had no need for a lot of room, did we?
Yeah, we're quite happy with like the small amount of space that we had in a bungalow.
Kind of got to the point where I thought, do we want to buy a house? Do we want to keep renting? And that's when we came across sort of tiny homes, and then we came across van life on Instagram.
We rented a caravan,
That's right, yeah.
a camper van for like a long weekend and drove up to Scotland, and then literally 1 year to the day it fell on that we bought the van.
So experience beforehand?
None.
Absolutely none, yeah. I couldn't wire a plug, so that was a kind of steep learning curve.
It would become that we would both do research and both find different ways of doing something, and then we'd argue because one of us thought this was the best way to do it and the other person thought this way, but neither of us actually knew. So yeah, we were fighting our own corners for stuff that we had absolutely no idea about. So we bought the van in around March 2017, and it took us like 18 months to convert because we were still working full time. We spent like 22 in total on the van, including the cost of the van itself. So
and, a couple of years insurance and things like that. So this is Didi. She's a 2012 long wheelbase Sprinter. So starting at the front, we added this bonnet bra because there's a bit of a dent here that you can't really see, and we wanted to stop any more rust spots coming on because you get a load of chips and stuff from the road. Also, we tried to get a new bonnet for it, but white was the only colour you could get, and we didn't want to have to worry about colour matching it, so this was a much cheaper option. Orange awning, trying to keep it on brand. This is from Allpro, just a simple system. We've got a C-track glued up on top of the door. We just feed that through on there, 3 little legs, and then you tack it down with the guy ropes. That takes about 10 minutes to put up. Then looking up onto the top, we've got our full-length roof rack that we got done from a company in Yorkshire. That's kind of in 2 separate parts that's bolted together and then bolted down onto the van. On the front, we've got 3 100-watt solar panels, and they feed into a 390 amp hour AGM batteries in the inside of the van. We also keep our bikes on the top up there, just locked down and bungee corded down so that they don't fly away. We've got these windows that we added in ourselves. There's 3 on this side and then 2 on the other. This was a fun task. It was one of the first things that we did on the van, cutting out big scary holes. A learning curve, and also this one here actually leaked a little bit when it rained. So we got some professionals out to take them all off and reseal them because we didn't want to be somewhere and start having leaks and causing loads of rust issues. So next up is our electrical hookup point. We originally had that under the van, but it was a really bad mistake from us because under the van is where lots of dirt, spray, water and crap goes to. So that got inside the mechanism, started rusting it all, meant that the connection was shot. So just about a week before we came away, we had to cut a hole in the van and put this in, but it works so much better now. And then we get to the back, we've got the standard step that kind of works as like a safety barrier. This is our old bike rack. We changed the bikes up to the back because you can't see out the reversing camera when it's on, when the bikes are on, but this works just like this. So you turn both round and then the bikes would sit across here, but the weight of the bikes and the shape of our ladder meant that these were getting bent, so the bikes were sort of falling over this way, covering the number plate up and genuinely being a bit of a nuisance. And the doors are actually really easy to open, whereas before they were a nightmare to get into. This goes into our kind of garage space, and I say garage, it's not the huge garage that you see on other vans, but we built the chairs and everything, and then we kind of came across the issue of that you had to remove all the cushions to get into the back benches. So we just retrospectively, there's a trainer, retrospectively added these 2 little holes because there's supporting struts here and here. But for us, it's all we really need. Ideally, we would have thought about this before we built the benches and would have made the whole back piece like a door, but you know, you learn as you go, don't you, I guess. Going around this side, there's not too much else apart from our water tanks. So underneath here, we've got the inlet for fresh water, and running along this part here is a 100-litre water tank. Down here is the wastewater disposal. You just turn a twist here and that'll release it all out from the 75-litre tank. And we've got a steering wheel lock on here to make sure that if we are away, there's no chance of anyone taking it. We did change the chairs out actually. So these are 2 brand new chairs. The only other thing is we've got a cover that goes over the 3 here just to keep the inside nice and warm, and it stops all the condensation forming on the inside of these windows, because when it's any temperature difference to the outside, the condensation just goes crazy on that huge windscreen.
So welcome to the inside of the van. This is our entrance hallway. So we have like this thermal curtain here, which is a door curtain from a house. We just hemmed it up. Here we've got like extra shoe storage, so like our outside shoes, and we've got like a brush and a shovel and stuff in there. Behind the driver's seat, we keep like all of our coats, and like the chairs from outside, we stuff those down there as well. In here is our wardrobe. So this is pretty much all of our clothing storage. So we have like hanging clothes. We have a table in here that comes out for when we want to sit outside. We also have like a drying rack in here, which can come out and sit across the seats in the front if we need to when we do laundry. We have like a box each of clothes, so if your box is overflowing, then that means you need to get rid of stuff. So that kind of keeps things all tidied away. And then coming across here, we have our shower room. So the shower room, we have a kind of motion censored light in here, the shower curtain that just pulls across. We've got a porta potty Thetford in there, which is perfect for what we need. So when we shower, we just lift it out, and then when we're done, we pop it back in. And then this shower head that we actually have is like eco-friendly, so it uses so much less water, but you still get the same kind of pressure that you would in a normal house. Obviously, water usage is something we have to be quite careful of. It has been quite a challenge, I'm not gonna lie, having the shower in here. We have had a few leaks and things, so when we first put the shower mixer tap in there, we had leaks going through the wall, so we had to get someone out to come and help us to try and fix those. And then when we first got away as well, we found that when we're parked on a bit of a tilt like we are now, if we shower, the water kind of pools on the edge of the shower tray, and it was leaking into the bottom of the wardrobe, so we had to reseal all of the bottom of the shower tray, but fingers crossed now it's fixed, so hopefully no more issues there. We have 100 litres of fresh water underneath the van, and if we shower every day, and so 2 showers between us a day, and we're doing washing up like 3 times a day, and then we also use it for drinking water as well, we usually fill up twice a week. And then similarly with the toilet, we usually do that a couple of times a week as well. Like that's one of the things I think that we didn't really think about, was how often you have to empty the toilet. But yeah, there's places in like all around Europe that are really like catered towards motorhomes and stuff, so it's not been an issue. So we've got this massive worktop space on this side. We decided not to have like a fixed cooktop. We actually don't have any like plumbed in gas in the van, just because we decided we didn't kind of want to risk doing gas ourselves. In this cupboard under here, we have all of our pots and pans and things, but then we also have our diesel heater tank. So it's a 10-litre diesel tank, which is for our heating and hot water system. Coming through, we have like a control panel here. So this is one of 2 control panels. We've got our carbon monoxide alarm, our remote for our fan that's in the roof, battery monitor, and then moving over to this side, we have another kitchen unit. So we have all of our plumbing and stuff is in this cupboard with the water heat exchanger. And we have like a massive sink. So we basically tried to find like the biggest sink we could find. And we also have like a washing up bowl that slots in perfectly. So when we're driving, we can actually just leave stuff to dry and it just slots in there. Then we have 2 taps here as well. So one tap is for just like normal water, and then we have a second tap which is for drinking water only, so that has a filter on it. Here we have a second control panel. This one is for our heating and hot water. So we have our cabinets, So we've got our plates and our cups and things up here. So we did try to put hinges on them so that they stay open, but we couldn't find the size that we needed to get the angle correct. So we just basically rest it on our heads when we want to get stuff out, which is the simplest solution. We've got our fridge down here as well. So this is an isotherm 60-litre fridge. We can fit like a full week's food shop in here. Living room slash office slash bedroom. It's multi-purpose space. This is like the swivel table. You can put it in like all kinds of different places. It can like go back there, and then we've got all this open space if we want to, which is quite nice to have. And then what actually happens when we make this into a bed is that these little wooden slats on the side here act as like a little shelf. The table leg comes off and the tabletop sits down onto these little slats. And then we also have like an extra piece of table, which just slots on the end there, which sits behind the driver's seat. And then all the cushions pull in, and it's about just over 2 meters in length, I think, and then like 170 wide, so it's like a queen size bed, I think, maybe a bit bigger, might be like a king. The other thing I guess to mention is we've got these blinds made. So we weren't planning on having thermal blinds, but these are actually like custom made for the size of each window, because actually the windows let out quite a lot of heat. Like, it's not something that we really thought about. We knew we wanted it to be really light in here. Those make a huge difference. And then I think the only other thing that I haven't really mentioned is this area around the back door. So we decided not to like clad around this metal area. In hindsight, we would like to, but at the time we just didn't really know how we were going to do it. So we left it bare metal and then just put these leaves around just to try and disguise it a little bit, which is totally fine now that we're in a warmer country. But when we were back in the UK in the winter, you get quite a lot of drafts through these little gaps.
If you're in the planning stage and think about it, and you think, God, it seems like a big task. Yeah, it is a big task, but like if we can do it with zero experience, never having done any big project like this before in our lives, then
yeah, you can definitely do it.
Yeah.
I think I found it quite difficult to try not to look at the big picture, so I was always like, oh my god, we've got to build a van, like thinking there's so much stuff I don't know. But actually when we broke it down, we were like, okay, what are we doing today? Okay, we need to build a drawer. We've never built a drawer before. How do we do that? And you just have to break it down into like manageable small tasks.
Go for drawers over cupboards if you can, because like it's a small space. Getting into a cupboard or the back of a cupboard is sometimes
really
pretty annoying.
And I think just accept that you're gonna like do things totally wrong and like you're probably gonna mess it up.
Your pride
and
will
spend
be
money.
hit,
Yeah, spend money that you realise later on that you didn't need to spend because you didn't know what you were doing and you bought too much material. It's just all part of the process, is like just accepting that things are gonna go wrong and you're just gonna learn from it.
You fail on things and you learn from it. You're like, oh, actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
The most common question that us digital nomads get is, how do you make your money while traveling? And like Courtney and James, most of us make our money online somehow. And if you're gonna make money online, then you're gonna need a website. And luckily for you, you can click the link in the description and get 10% off of Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform and tool that you need to build yourself a beautiful website or an online store. It's got all the marketing tools and back-end analytics that you need in order to run your business successfully. So click the link in the description and check it out, because anybody can build a website with Squarespace. It's very easy. We just revamped our websites and they look beautiful because of Squarespace's intuitive platform, in which you just drag and drop the images that you want. You build your website off of a template. Using the link in the description, you can start building your website today, playing around with different styles and templates to see what fits you and your business. And when you're ready to set the website live, then you can use code FLORB and you'll get 10% off of your website. Click the link in the description and head over to squarespace.com/FLORB and get 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain using code FLORB. Check it out, use the template, build your website, start making money, and run your business online today using Squarespace. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.